Hello guys, I'm Nanande. Today we'll be going over some of the comps that I recommend for you to try when you first start playing the new set Enchanted Wilds releasing next week. We'll be going over some different comp types, and the first we'll be going over is Blossom, which is probably my favorite and also probably the strongest vertical comp, which makes use of the unique Wisp mechanic coming into the next set. Like, what does the Blossom trait do? It gives AD/AP and also interacts with the wisps that you can find in your shop. You can see that we usually play around 5 Blossom for the 30 AD/AP, but we can also take in 7 to 9 Blossom earlier, or if you have Emblem or even Deluxe. So yeah, we usually play around set tank and RE carry while playing around 5 Blossom on level 8. Just because if you do decide to play 7, you play too many weak units. So yeah, we just play 5. The 5 you can play are usually Set, Yorick, Karma, Ari, Ash, with Ari main carry and Ash do carry. Ash can hold the util items like the anti-heal items or Last Whisper if you do end up playing around Severe Duo. So here I just showed the few example units you want to play on your board. So before you find Ash, you can play Yunara, and you play Executioner with her. Also kind of strong. She can hold your items before you hit the Ash. Yeah, I think all of the 4-cost comps are very flexible this set, where there's a lot of ways to play the end board depending on what you find on your roll down. For example, here, since our main tank is set, we probably want to play a brawler for him. The best one is Nar. And yeah, so before you find Nar, you can play some other brawlers. Say for example, you play the combo of Rek'Sai Azir to turn on Executioner, Summoner, and also Brawler for your board. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units, and then you still have one more slot to play a flex slot. Say for example, you find Ivern, which is one of the flexible 5-cost units of the set. So it's really hard for me to give you a definitive this is how to play a certain comp, because it really depends on what you hit on your roll down. I'll just give a few examples here. So just say we already have Nar for our brawler for our main tank, so we get to fill out the traits that we have left. Here we have Juggernaut. You can play Amumu Cannon for Inferno Juggernaut, and also Executioner with Yunara to give our board free anti-heal, burn and wound. Before we, if say for example we don't have Morello or red buff, Cannon is a strong flex unit, and he can also function without Executioner. So you do find Ash, you can just play this board. If you end on this board, it's fine. Another example of a board we can also end on is you can just play Xayah also. Summoner and Xayah's unique trait, Thor Maiden, just gives your team durability. So it's just a supporting trait for your whole board. Another board you can also play is by Sivir, which gives your entire board the primal buff. For the primal buff, there's a few here. You probably want to pick the gives HP healing to whole board if you're not planning on itemizing the Sivir. Yeah, and you can also play the Blossom for the Blossom Avatar, which gives a +2 to your Blossom, to your Blossom trait. So yeah, just even with the very basic vertical traits, you can play so many different units and combination of units. I didn't even mention it here, but if you end up finding Soraka, you can also play around like two like Flora for a bit, you know? Yeah, and just maybe you don't play Karma, and you just end on this board. Which is why it also works very well with like the like 2-piece emblems. Say for example like Juggernaut set or like Brawler on your deck, so you get to play the board without hitting the Nar. A lot of options, even in like a simple vertical board. I think we'll go over augments another video, but just like giving like a few examples. There's this new augment called verticality, which would be really good in all of like the high verticals, maybe like 5+ units. And yeah, so it's probably pretty good in Blossom and in like another comp that I'll show you later. Okay, going to the next comp. It's a 1 and 2 cost reroll comp, but yeah, the main idea here is we play around the solar trait, which gives bonuses based on how many 3-stars we have. Ideally, we make it to 5 3-star units. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean like here, ideally we get like all 6, but say for example, you hit 5 and your Rakan is still like so far off, you can just skip the Rakan and just level 4 Hecarim. They both want Ginsu, but Xayah is AD and Kill is AP. And your main tank is ideally Ornn, because he can print artifacts after tanking enough damage in combat. But the tankiest should probably be Sejuani. So like if you have like Sejuani 3 and you print like enough artifacts from Ornn and you're so far from the next one, you just move items to like Sejuani. But like Leona 3 is also fine if you haven't hit like the Ornn yet. Yeah, so you wanna roll on 5. Why 5? Because ideally you hit like the Ornn, the Xayah, and like the Leona or like Rakan before you like level up. Since it's like easier to hit on like level 5. And then you can just level to 6 and then finish your like Sejuani and kill on 6 later on. And then you just can level for Hecarim, since he gives like Elderwood and Vanguard to your board. So yeah, pretty simple reroll comp. Not like a lot of variation in the board, but yeah, you might have to think about like who should hold items for now. And like sometimes you can like put just like 3 items on like Xayah first before you start getting kill items, you know. Yeah, so just try and think about the strongest board every turn. And yeah, why are reroll comps strong in this set? Because you get to take roll more often and on like ordinary rounds, and you get rewarded for like rolling, since you get to buy a wisp, and these wisps can range from like combat to like save more HP, or even like there's like one wisp that gives you a shop full of 2-star 1 cost, and the wisps like that really make hitting the low cost reroll board like way like easier. Augments, there's like a solar augment which like buffs your Leona. It's like not bad, but I think you prefer to have like an econ augment or like item augments in order to itemize all of your units and also hit your board fast. Since like we really need to want to be winning like stage 3 and stage 4 early, you know. Yeah, and we want to hit by like 4-1 4-2 in order to compete with like the fast 8 or like the 2 cost and like 3 cost reroll comps. Also stuff like artifacts are like really good, and maybe like stuff that scales your one cost like early learnings is also pretty good. So the next one is a 3-cost reroll comp. Usually you play from like either like from loss, maybe with augments that give like rerolls, like calculated loss, and then you can roll a lot on like 3-5, or you play from like semi win streak tempo, you know. Say for example, you have like Master Yi from the opening orb, and then you like open like a rage artifact for him. He performs like really well with like the stuff like rapid fire or like fish bones. And then you just play like a semi win streak, and you try to roll on like 3-7 or 4-1 for your 2 stars. You play the Gromp on level 8, and this is ideally your level 7 board. You also get Blossom in, which also buffs your like earlier wisps, and also gives like a lot of board power. But you can probably substitute Set with like another Blossom unit before you hit him. Yeah, so like this is like your, I guess, typical 3-cost reroll comp, which like wants a lot of artifacts. Because like Master Yi can use like a lot, and Kokbo can also use a lot, and even tank ones aren't that bad on Vi because she's like your main tank. So augments, items, econ, and you don't really need like combat, I feel, because if you hit your board on like a decent pace, and you also have items for, because all of the units here are like really good at like holding extra items. Like Nidalee can hold like Ginsu's, and Kokmo can be like your Shojin like 3-star damage dealer, and Master Yi can hold like the melee items. Even if you're forced to play double melee item, Nidalee can also become a melee if you give her like the AD melee items. So this comp really benefits from a surplus of items, and you just add the Gromp on level 8 for the 4 adapter. The primal buff, if you hit the 2 primal early enough, ideally you want to take the components, since again you get to itemize so many units. But even like the combat one isn't even so bad if you hit like the 2 primal late. The healing one is like probably fine. The next one is Aphelios 4-cost. He's like your Ginsu Kraken user, similar to like Xayah from last set. This is like your core units on the left. You play 4 Vanguards, and you play Aphelios and Mama Big for the rapid fire, and also has like some extra backline damage. But like you have like 2 more slots, right? You get to play Xayah for what I mentioned before, like the team wide damage reduction bonus. Or you can play Morgana for some extra damage, which also turns on like the invoker for Sentinel, which gives your like entire board some extra mana. You can also play Brambleback, which is also like a AD fighter guy. You can give him like the extra AD items, and you can just make a last whisper on like Aphelios. Brambleback also turns on the rapid fire on your Mama Big. You can also play around the random 1-star 5-cost you find, like say Ivern, which gives your board excess, or like play like 3 Lunar. Or you find a Lux, like say for example Primal Lux, which gives your entire board like the primal bonus. There's like a lot of extra slots you have on your board here, especially when you make it to level 9. You can choose like who you want to play. Yeah, so like a lot of flexibility on this board. Your tank is ideally Sentinel, but Hecarim 2 can hold items before you hit Sentinel 2. Before you hit Taric, you can also play around like Rakan or Elise. That's like your like earlier Vanguard. If you happen to hit like a Juggernaut emblem, you can also like play Rakan to give Juggernaut to your Sentinel or your Hecarim. And you can also like temporarily play some Amumu on your board if you're missing front line. So yeah, even the Ginsu Kraken, you know, like typical marksman Vanguard comp has some variation for like units you can play, especially for his duo carry. Albans, I think combat is a bit better here. Stuff like Baron's Lair is pretty good since you're playing like a stalling comp, or even like extra items. Also good since you can play around like 2 carries here and even like an extra one here. Yeah, items are good. Econ is good to hit on tempo, and also like extra econ can also buy you more items because there's whips like the Curio card, which like opens like a shop for you to spend your gold on like extra items. So yeah, you can also like pivot to like Draven carry level 9, or like if you find a early Draven and just like dual carry Aphelios and like Draven. So a lot of options there. Like yeah, you can also play Dragon here, and then you just like don't play Aphelios, I guess, and you pivot to like the fast 9 board, like maybe something like this. Yeah, like the typical fast 9 board you play is like Draven Elder Dragon, and then you have like some extra slots here. Play Taric because he's like really good, and you can play Maokai or another Juggernaut. But yeah, lots of flex slots in the set, and it just comes with like practice, I guess, and like watching other people play, which gives you more ideas. And the last comp I want to give is probably like one of the more simple ones. You just play all of the Riftbeasts and you try to turn on their traits. You don't really want to play for 10 Riftbeasts, but I just put it here. Just like try to tempo of melee items, maybe on like Merc Wolf, or you play Warwick, and you just tempo to like level 7. I mean, tempo to like 7 Riftbeasts. If you hit the 5 Riftbeasts, it also helps you hit your 2 stars, since every 3 combats your next shop is like full of Riftbeasts. Can end on a board like this maybe, where you drop like the cheaper ones and you just try and like dual carry your Bramble back with like the melee items and your Dragon with like the more damage items. You can also hold melee items, but yeah, it's sometimes like your Edge of Night and stuff goes on your Bramble back. If you have extra slots, you can play Taric for Vanguard with your Sentinel as your main tank. You can play a Brawler for your Krug. Or you can play like supporting units like Ivern or Lux or like a Draven if you have extra items for like damage. It's not the best comp, but it's pretty simple, and you can kind of get to learn the set with like the more simple comps. I think that's probably like the 5 comps I want to highlight today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I guess yeah. If you're interested in personal coaching, I'm currently working with Mentor, a platform which provides like a lot of coaching and stuff for like TFT and also Riftbound, I think. So yeah, you can just open mentor.gg and then you can open the coaching tab. I do single one-on-one coaching for like single sessions, and also like we have like this mentorship program which spans for the entire competitive set. So it's around 10 weeks, 10-week program, and yeah, you get like a cheaper deal on coaching, and we do like sessions once a week for the whole set. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one. Also, for my Indonesian viewers, uh, I'll have a link to an Indonesian version of the video in the comments. So like just check out the comments. Bye bye.